Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reverend Krista Weber Huang. I use she, her pronouns, and it is my privilege to be your minister here at Merging Waters Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community that draws on the shared values of mindful interdependence, authentic curiosity, and courageous love. We welcome you who are joining us here in person, as well as you who are joining us on Zoom or watching the recording. It is good to be together today in the many ways that we can be. If you're with us in person, we share this space here with the United Church of Christ, New Brighton. We ask that everyone wear a name tag, which I am horrible at modeling, in an effort of radical hospitality, and to build community. If you need one, there are some out on the table in the entryway. A few announcements. We encourage everyone to take care of their bodies and their spirits during this service and our time together, and that means engaging in ways that feel good for you. Some of us do well sitting, others of us need to knit or doodle or even move our bodies around to really engage with the world around us. Please feel free to do that both here in the sanctuary and in the extra space in the fireside room. And as always, the voices and sounds of children are celebrated and welcome in this space. And their movements back and forth through the aisle, up and down and around. If you have a pastoral need, please reach out to me. I'm available and love to listen and hear and support however I can in these trying times. Newcomers are welcome at all of our programming. You don't need to be a formal member. If you're new to Merging Waters, we encourage you to sign up for our Thursday update newsletter. There's a sign-up sheet in the hall, or if you go to our website and click Connect, you can sign up there. That has kind of all of the information about what's happening in our community and what's happening in the broader UU world around us as well. One event that is coming up this week that didn't make it into the Thursday update but will go out as a flash announcement on Wednesday is the UUA is holding a Transgender Day of Remembrance on Thursday, November 20th, specifically for folks who identify as transgender, non-binary, gender diverse. So if you are in that category, if you need to be in that space, I highly encourage you to sign up, or if you know someone else who would benefit from having that space available, please feel free to forward that email. I don't believe the links are available on the main website because they are trying to make sure people who are within our community have access and not folks who may be trying to sign up to come in and create chaos. So please make sure you share those links when they come out on Wednesday with care. In other words, no Facebook posting them. One other way we take care of our bodies in this space and time during cold and flu season is by masking when we are not feeling well, by using hand sanitizer and washing our hands frequently. Please be aware of the health needs of one another in this community and take care of both your own self and those around us. Joining me today in worship are our fabulous choir director, Bruce, and our choir, as well as our amazing tech team. Oh, and the band is here. I cannot forget the band. So excited to have you all here. Our tech team is Katie and Byron Johnson, as well as Brian Hill, and Janice Sandcott and Katie Johnson make the slides for us. Once again, welcome to our service today. We hope these Sundays provide us with a time of sanctuary, reflection, connection, and joy. I do have one content warning today. We will be spending a little bit of time recognizing Transgender Day of Remembrance. So we'll have our regular joys and sorrows, then we're going to take some time to bear witness and hold the space and hold some of the names. If that is something that may be triggering or emotionally challenging for you and you need to take care of your own self, please feel free to exit the sanctuary as you need. We will sing There Is a Love after we are through with that piece, so when you hear the singing, it is a good time to rejoin us. And that holds for all times, right? It is take care of your spirit and your body, be in community when you can, and take space when you need it. Would someone be willing to come up and light our chalice for us this morning? Marie, thank you. If those of you have a chalice at home, now is the time where I would invite you to light yours as well. Our opening reading while we light our chalice is called If the Moon Came Out Only Once a Month by Kathy Ross. If the moon came out only once a month, people would appreciate it more. They'd mark it in their date books, take a walk by moonlight, notice how their bedroom window framed its silver smile. I'll get this gold light going in a minute. And if the moon came out just once a year, it would be a holiday with tinsel streamers tied to lamp posts, stores closing early so no one has to work on Lunar Eve, travelers rushing to get home by moonlight, celebrations with champagne and cheese. Folks would stay awake till dawn to watch it turn transparent and slowly fade away. If the moon came out randomly, the world would be on wide alert, never knowing when it might appear, spotters scanning the empty skies, weathermen on TV giving odds a 10% chance of moon tonight. And when it suddenly began to rise, everyone would cry, "The moon is out!" Crowds would fill the streets, jostling and pointing. Night events would be canceled. Moon closure signs posted on the doors. If the moon rose but once a century, ascending luminous and lush on a long-awaited night, all humans on the planet would gather in huddled, whispering groups to stare in awe, dazzled by its brilliance, enchanted by its spell. Years later, they would tell their children, "Yes, I saw it once. Maybe you will live to see it too." But the moon is always with us. An old, familiar face like the mantle clock, so no one pays much attention. Tonight, why not go outside and gaze up in wonder, as if you'd never seen it before, as if it were a miracle, as if you had been waiting all your life. I invite us now into singing together our first hymn in your gray hymnal, number 128, For All That Is Our Life. The choir will lead us from the front, but please rise in body or spirit as you're willing and able, and the words will also be up on our screen for those at home. Each week we come together in this space, bringing with us many experiences in our lives. We come with bodies that hold who we are. We come with spirits that sing. We come with emotions that fill us and sometimes overflow. We come with minds that are both powerful and intelligent and can sometimes run away from us. In this world today, we are impacted by all that our bodies and spirits and minds and hearts are experiencing. So these times when we come together, we make sure to make space to share what it is that we are holding, so we may be reminded that we do not hold these things alone. Now, let us take a moment to hold in love with a ritual of bearing witness on this day of Transgender Day of Remembrance. This week, we're doing a little early. Each year, we pause every November 20th for Transgender Day of Remembrance to honor the memory of transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people who we have lost to anti-transgender violence. There is a list that is compiled online, but we know that list is not comprehensive. There are so many names of people who are not acknowledged. So when we call for that list, if you have another name that you know that you would like acknowledged during that time, I will invite you to speak it aloud. I'm going to invite us into a call and response with a piece called We Bear Witness, originally written by Amy G.S.A. Brooks. I will say a line and invite you to respond with We Bear Witness. We, people gathered here today on the quest for truth and meaning, bear witness. We bear witness to the record of human lives extinguished simply because these people dared to live authentically. We bear witness.
We bear witness
To the lives and reported deaths of 217 transgender people globally so far this year. We bear witness. To the lives and reported deaths of the 43 transgender people in these United States so far this year. We bear witness.
we bear witness
To the unreported ones, uncounted ones, the unnamed many, whose lives and deaths will only ever be known by the universe. We bear witness.
we bear witness.
In these times of heightened anxiety, we who are gathered here today reject the teachings of division and ignorance and commit to siding with love against hatred. We bear witness against close-minded ideologies that excuse evil acts in the name of religion. We bear witness against any administration that seeks to fuel their rise to power by threatening the lives of transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people. We bear witness against systematic power structures that treat transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people, particularly those who are people of color, as being anything less than human. We bear witness On this day, we who are queer folks and allied gather together, upholding the love that we declare at the center of our faith and the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We bear witness. For those transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people who gather among us today, we bear witness. For those who are allied to the cause of protecting our transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary siblings, we bear witness. For those who exist bodily, boldly, unapologetically in public spaces as fully authentic transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary people, we bear witness. I would invite you to read the list of people who have died this year in the United States from violence. And if you know of any other names, please speak those aloud while we take a moment. These remembered deaths have not gone unnoticed by us. We bear witness. Sacred, transgender, genderqueer, and non-binary lives do not go unnoticed by us. We bear witness. As we bear witness to all that is happening in the world, let these lives and the lives of those of our siblings still living be held in love in this space. Let us take a moment to send our love out into the universe, and then we will sing together that there is a love. Please join me in singing as you're willing and able. The words will be on the screen, and you may remain in the pews and seated, for there is a love. While we continue to hold Transgender Day of Remembrance in our hearts and minds, I want to connect it to our theme of the month, which is nurturing gratitude. Today in particular is about when gratitude is gone, which I think fits very well with TDOR. But I'm going to shift energy just a little bit and share a story with us. Does anyone recognize Cat Kid Comic Club? I see a hand in the back and up front, not very many. Has anyone ever heard of Dog Man? A couple more. Cat Kid Comic Club is a spin-off of Dog Man, and I have a lot of people who are very confused, and that's okay. I was very confused until about 2 years ago when my son got obsessed. And now I am very familiar. But this particular part of the series, Cat Kid Comic Club, is about a bunch of little frogs who make comics. And some of them are pretty absurd. And some of them are beautifully poignant. So I want to share one of them with you today. That is on the beautifully poignant end, but I don't want you to expect, if you were to pick up one of these books, that that is all you would find in here. This story is called Two Birds, written by Poppy the Frog, but actually written by Dave Pilkey. And it is in the book Influencers. One day, as the world was spinning and the morning just beginning, two birds hatched in one great tree and saw the world quite differently. One looked up and one looked down. One bird smiled and one bird frowned. One bird sang and one bird roared. One said, "Thank you." One cried, "More!" Seasons changed and two birds grew. They longed to fly as most birds do. And so, both birds, with wings unfurled, fluttered off to see the world. Two birds tumbled from their nest, even though they tried their best. One bird yelled and cried and swore. One bird said, "Let's try some more." Although I think the swearing can be very helpful at times. And after many, many tries, two birds finally learned to fly. Soaring over land and sea, still seeing things quite differently. One looked down and saw the crowds. One looked up and noticed clouds. One saw mud and trash and cars. One saw moonbeams flecked with stars. One bird saw the rain and cried, "It's too wet to be outside." The other bird said with a laugh, "What a nice day for a bath." One day, they needed rests. Two birds made two little nests, side by side upon a branch. One happy home, one rugged ranch. Then a tempest raged outside, so two birds found a place to hide. There they huddled, safe and warm, as they weathered out the storm. Soon their tree began to sway, and all their trappings blew away. The wild wind raged on and on until their tiny nests were gone. One bird stomped and shook their wings. We've lost our nest, we've lost our things. They cursed the wind that caused this strife. This is the worst day of my life. The other bird was homeless too. But I am safe, and so are you. And so she raised her voice to say, I've never known a better day. Many, many years went by, and two birds grew too old to fly. Collapsed before the setting sun, one bird said, my life is done. Too tired to walk, too blind to see, a lifetime choked with misery. She laid down upon the rock to die, and with her final breath said, why? The other bird was dying too, for that's what every bird must do. Grateful for a chance to live, to see the world, to love, to give. And so she sat upon the ground, beholden to the world around, the trees, the stars, the riverbanks, and with her final word said, thanks. Two birds passed away that day. Each saw things a different way. Two birds came. Now they are gone. And the world spins on and on. I feel like we could stop the service there and it would have been a lot already. But I do want to share just a few words, probably more than a few. Because gratitude, as I mentioned last week, is one of those topics that's a little challenging for me, and there's a lot to unpack. So I want to start with some words from Robert Emmons, who is quoted as the world's leading scientific expert on gratitude. And this was a quote in one of Brené Brown's books, Atlas of the Heart. Robert Emmons says, research on emotions show that positive emotions wear off quickly. Our emotional systems like newness. They like novelty. They like change. We adapt to positive life circumstances so that before long, the new car, the new spouse, the new house, they don't feel so new and exciting anymore. But gratitude makes us appreciate the value of something, and when we appreciate the value of something, we extract more benefits from it. We're less likely to take it for granted. He goes on to say, in effect, I think gratitude allows us to participate more in life. We notice the positives more, and that magnifies the pleasures you get from life. Instead of adapting to goodness, we celebrate goodness. We spend so much time watching things, movies, computer screens, sports, but with gratitude, we become participants in our lives as opposed to spectators. It's kind of a funny thing that gratitude and being present and mindful is so easy to forget. So easy to let things get in the way of it. Right? That our brains are always searching for the next thing, that we have to consciously slow ourselves down enough to participate in gratitude and appreciation of the world around us. So what else gets in the way of gratitude, right? Our brain's going too fast, and wanting newness is one of those things that gets in the way. But the research tells us there are other things like comparison, things like resentment, things like entitlement. The moment we fall into the trap of feeling like the world is out to get us, gratitude feels like it's out of reach. The good news is we can practice gratitude. We can change our brain circuits to go more naturally to gratitude. And all of us fall into those moments where we get lost in the things that interrupt, the things that keep us from being present and appreciating our lives. In our story today of two birds, it was highlighted, right? The difference in the way the world can look when we get stuck in that place of seeing the negative versus being in the place of gratitude and appreciation. But I think one of the interesting things that the story missed in pulling out directly, but was there, was that this wasn't just one bird by itself. These two birds stayed together through their lives. They continued to support each other in the ways that they best could. And I wonder in reality what kind of impact that would have on each of those birds to stay in community and to look for that gratitude. We all know people in our lives, or who have been in our lives, who are in that negative bird space. They have the potential to hurt each other and us. But we can't just leave them out there by themselves. We as a people of faith are called to call them in, to continue to show them love, not to get sucked into their pain, and not to stop shining with our own brightness and practice of gratitude, but to be by their side through the challenges. In our opening words, we reflected on the moon that's always there, waxing and waning a bit. But this past week, we had a spectacular event of the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis. And my family made it out to see it because we got a text from our neighbors saying, "Look what's out in the backyard." Did anyone else get a chance to see it? A couple people. I thought I was okay because I was holding Felix, who was wiggling and ready to go to bed. And I was having a hard time being in that moment and appreciating being out in the cold, having interrupted the middle of our bedtime. The kids ended up missing brushing their teeth. I had a hard time transitioning into seeing that moment of beauty and awe. Thankfully, my spouse did not, because that was one of his lifetime dreams, to see the aurora borealis. And his joy infected my older kiddo and slowed me down enough, eventually, once I had Felix back in bed and they were running in and out showing me pictures, to remember to appreciate those moments. We say preachers preach what we need to hear. Guilty. But I want to make the connection, right? When we get stuck and have trouble going to those moments of appreciation, we don't even realize the hurt that we can cause. And I think that is part of Transgender Day of Remembrance, is pausing to acknowledge the hurt and the pain that is happening in the world because folks are not pausing to appreciate the beauty and the wonder and amazing wholeness that can come from gender expression. There is fear, and there is a want to control. I wanted to control the kids' bedtime. That did not go well. And it may seem silly to compare the two, but I think it's fundamental because the way we change is in those small moments. And they snowball into the bigger moments. So I want to leave us with a different kind of practice for gratitude for this week. Last week we talked about an internal practice of remembering a time that we witnessed gratitude being expressed. And this week, the practice is to think about something in your life that maybe you take for granted. And imagine if it weren't there. How would your life be different? And how does that help you appreciate the things that you do have? The people, the stuff, the connections to the world around us. And this practice is a little more challenging because it may bring up things that we need to let go of, to make space for things that we really do appreciate. I want to read one last quote as I close from the Book of Joy, Lasting Happiness in a Changing World by Archbishop Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama. And they're quoting someone else. They're quoting Brother Steindl Rast in one of their 8 pillars of joy, which is, of course, the pillar of gratitude. The quote: "When you are grateful, you are not fearful. And when you are not fearful, you are not violent. When you are grateful, you act out of a sense of enough. and not out of a sense of scarcity. And you are willing to share. If you are grateful, you are enjoying the differences between people and respectful to all people. A grateful world is a world of joyful people. Grateful people are joyful people, and a grateful world is a happy world. So as we work towards a world with more gratitude, we also work towards a world with more love. So I invite you to join me in singing our closing hymn, Answering the Call of Love. It is 10:14 if you have a teal hymnal, otherwise the words will be up on the screen and our choir will come join in leading. Please rise in body and spirit as you are willing and able.